Why are all stepmothers somehow evil? Where did this come from? Has this been the fashion since Cinderella? After all, even in the animal world, it is quite common for furry, feathered, clawed and toothy moms to adopt other people's cubs, even human ones, because the cases of Mowgli's children are not invented and are not isolated. Here, my friend had a case when a young puppy, 6 months old, literally adopted 2 newborn blind kittens. The puppy was a male, and he could not feed kittens for physiological reasons. But how carefully he licked them, warmed them, took care of them, and even removed their waste products. My friend only fed me milk from a pipette. These are the miracles that happen. And only people have miracles in fairy tales and in movies. A stepmother is a stepmother, and you can't do anything against it. Here in our village there was one egregious case. It makes the hair stand on end. It all started with the fact that 2 girls were running after Semyon at the same time. And not to say that he was the first guy in the village. He is not afraid, he drinks moderately. Only on holidays. Cheerful, hardworking. And what else is needed? There were no others, but everyone wants to get married. Katka and Liza ran after him. Yes, you can run at least 2, at least 5. And the guy liked only one, Katerina. I chose her. Lizaveta held a fierce grudge then, as soon as she did not try to annihilate Katerina, and she went to some grandmother, they whispered over the photo. And she put candles in the church of the living Katia for the repose. Nothing took Katerina either. They had love with Semyon, and love protected them from everything. Plus, Katerina didn't believe in all this heresy. Moreover, Katia also teased Lisa, teased her in every possible way. And she put her feelings on display in front of her. The wedding was played, Lisa came and brought a bouquet, and hid the fragments of the mirror in the flowers. Katia began to put it in a vase, and injured herself, and while she was cleaning up the fragments, she accidentally looked into one of them. Believe it or not, this is a sure sign that there will be some kind of misfortune ahead. And whether Lizaveta's friendship really worked, or whether the seeds and Katia should have parted ways, but their love gave a big crack. Katia couldn't get pregnant. They've been married for the 2nd year, and even before the wedding they were already sinning with might and main, but there's still no baby. Semyon began to drink, and drunk Katia began to reprimand that it would be better if he chose a lick. Maybe the boys would have been running around the hut for a long time. Katia cried and complained to her sister Semyon and Irishka. They were kind of friends, but as it turned out later, Irinka was not only friends with Katia. With Katia, just for appearances, but she was friends with Lizaveta and reported all the problems in the house to her daughter-in-law. That's how they lived in a village with a love triangle. Katerina sensed something was wrong, persuaded her husband to go somewhere far away, to start all over again. No matter where, he has drinking buddies here, and indeed all his relatives. After the New Year holidays, a miracle finally happened. Katia got pregnant. Oh, and that pregnancy was hard for her. The poor thing was barely crawling, and then her husband adds oil to the fire. Instead of being happy, he eats the girl. Sometimes his house is not tidy, sometimes it is not tasty. Anyway, they say, he already wanted to file for divorce, but Katka somehow got pregnant on purpose in order to bind him to her forever. But isn't the child a rope? Katia was saying. If you don't want to live, go. I won't forcibly keep it, but I won't file for divorce myself. At least chop me to pieces. That's how they lived. Their boy was born frail, weak, prematurely, barely alive. Semyon has an extra reason to dive to the bottom of the bottle, and Irka and Liza talk about Katerina's insolvency. They say, she couldn't even give birth, but she gave birth to an abnormal one. The boy, by the way, was normal, and smart, and affectionate, but after all, evil tongues do not mind. Katia had one joy, a godfather boy, and gave him a good purebred puppy of the Alabai breed for Christina. The dog is smart, loyal and loyal. They will grow up together, the dog will be a friend and protector to the guy, until he can't protect himself. So Katerina fussed with the puppy, poured out her whole soul to him, shared all her troubles. And he had become her friend and protector before. Semyon was afraid of the dog. He grew up quickly, he was not even a year old, and already Katka was waist deep. It's a big machine, she called it North. It's like the North or the North Wind. The dog really ran faster than the wind, sometimes he could overtake a car on the road. Katia dreamed all the time, when winter comes, she will harness Nord in a sled and he will ride, my son. Or maybe she'll take a ride herself sometime, it'll be fun. But Katia's dreams were not destined to come true. Since the birth, she felt bad and did not get better. So everything withered before my eyes and died without waiting for the first snow. North then howled all night and all day. Semyon thought he would kill him. Yes, I failed, a gift to my son from a dreamer. He was afraid of his dreamy son. Katia chose this one for a reason. A former paratrooper, worked as a firefighter, and now a local gamekeeper. If anything, there will be someone to protect my son. Semyon did not grieve for a long time, he brought a new mistress into the house. 9 more days had not passed since Katina's death, but she had already settled down with Semyon and began to run the household. Who do you think it was? Well, of course, our Lisa. Now she had achieved her goal, but she could not get rid of the harmful habit in any way. At first, she addicted him to annoy Katia, but he liked it. And now you have to deal with an alcoholic yourself. What should I do? You have to pay for everything. North did not fall in love with Lisa at first sight, he did not let her walk quietly through the yard. But even here the quirky girl found a way out, asked her godfather to take the dog away for a while, until the boy grows up. Now, they say, the dog misses the former owner, and in a child who has barely learned to walk, he does not see the owner, no matter how much trouble has happened. Well, the huntsman scratched his head and found a sound grain in this. And now Lisa and Irina were glad to see Radchenka. Finally, everything is as they wanted. All but not all. The boy hurts his eyes and reminds me about Katka. And where should I put it? Not a dog, you can't just throw it out of the house. And Irina is singing along with her friends. They say, we should get rid of the boy. He was her nephew, but he wasn't the kind of nephew she dreamed of. Irina sang along, but Lisa heard everything wrong. She was so sick of her stepson in the house that she almost went crazy, and then she got pregnant herself. From the thought that her child would live in the house with Katka's freak, her roof was blown off. Lisa thought something was wrong. One night she gathered the boy and went with him in a roundabout way so that no one would see the bridge. There was a big bridge over the river, high. The water in the river is cold and deep. I decided to throw the child off the bridge first, and in the morning declare that Katia's son had become disobedient, ran away somewhere, and when they found the guy, I would cry and be killed by burning tears. And there is no demand. That's the kind of plan the bastard had, and she was already carrying her baby under her heart. The boy did not understand where he was being led. There was a cemetery across the river just across the bridge. Liza told the boy that she would take him to his mother. He agreed. And why at night? So he didn't understand that. It's still small. I heard the word mom and was delighted. He had missed her. I thought they were really coming to her. The only thing the vile snake did not know was that not only the boy missed his mother, but also the Nord. Somehow he figured out where Katia's grave was, and periodically, choosing the moment, he ran away and sat on her grave. The huntsman already knew where to look for the dog if he wasn't there. The bridge was very clearly visible from there. When Liza began to drag the guy over the railing, he understood everything, began to scream and scratch. It was somehow uncomfortable for Liza with a belly. Fortunately for the boy, Nord was at Katia's. He heard a familiar voice and immediately realized what the essence of the problem was. He took off like lightning, as if he had been shot from a cannon. He immediately grabbed Liska's hand, so much so that it remained in his paste. Liska is yelling, the boy is crying. Fortunately, a huntsman was passing over the bridge. I saw such a terrible sight, and at first I didn't understand anything. I thought Nord attacked Liska. He pulled out a shotgun and aimed at the dog. The boy saw and began to close the door with him. All I could do was scream no, no. The huntsman decided to figure it out later, but now it was necessary to help Liska. I loaded everyone into the car and drove to the hospital. Liska had an operation, everything was sewn up, but she lost her arm. When she came to her senses, she began to say that she saw the boy go somewhere at night, decided to follow him, caught up with him on the bridge, and then how this terrible dog would fly, how it would cling to her. It was necessary to put such people to sleep. Stupid did not know that Urka, when she found out about the incident, immediately guessed why her friend went to the bridge with the child, and with fear, as if in spirit, told her everything to the police. How they hated Katia, how they poisoned her with all sorts of drugs, pills and decoctions. Liza brought it, and she, as her husband's sister, invited her to visit and treated her. That's why Katia couldn't get pregnant for a long time, and then she gave birth to a weak boy. Urka also told about different witches and about how Katia continued to be poisoned after giving birth. In general, they both went to prison. Semyon got drunk and left after Katia, and they were buried next to each other. The envious Liza lost her lover, her hand, her happiness, and gave birth to her daughter in prison. And the huntsman took the boy to himself. Now the three of them and Nord often went to visit their parents' grave. That's the story. And thank you for listening to the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and also click on the bell so that you don't miss new videos. Have a nice day.